you saying? It works now?
Oh, it's only in my right ear.
Are you kidding me? I thought I fixed it the last time.
This is 3 in a row.
You didn't.
I even told Jeff, I was like, I got it figured out. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, I figured it out. And I went to that freaking line, and sure enough, you know what?
And you saved it.
Yeah, I did save it. Ooh.
But you didn't load it, did you?
Load it.
Wow.
You know what? Forget about it.
Outstanding.
All right, well, look, guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast. What is today's date?
15th.
The 15th. It's January 15th. Oh, my God.
Mid-January.
Shit,
already.
man. The time is just flying by.
It is.
2 weeks into January. We have a fun-filled podcast set up for tonight. We've got
It's going to be a little different. It's going to be quite a bit
It's
different.
different. We are derailed off the whiskey tracks today, and we're diving into the grapes, and we're going to talk about this. And I kind of like this because we try to be diverse on a couple things. We started doing a Scotch, which was weird for us.
Well, we've also done some agave with,
we did
not
tequila.
technically
It was kinda
tequila, but
weird.
yeah, some tequilas and agave spirits and scotches. And
So we're jumping in head first, man, because I'll go back a little bit for those folks that haven't listened to the Dudes Like Us podcast before. We're all friends. We're frankly best friends, and I know, Paul, you have tier 1 friends,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
we're in the lower tiers, but
Yeah, lower.
Yeah.
Definitely lower.
yeah, we don't own a boat or anything, but God bless it. We'll get there eventually. But we're 3 best friends. We hang out all the time. Someone said, "Hey, you should do this," and we were like, "Oh, I don't think so." And then a little light went on. I was like, "Hey, man, we've got our home karaoke box right here. We could just hook up 3 microphones and try it." So we did it, and we've been doing the karaoke. I'm sorry, the podcast thing ever since then. So we grew up from different regions of the world, different styles. Jeff grew up in Ohio. Paul was in all over Indonesia.
over,
Your
yeah.
father was a geologist.
you're
so-
in Brazil or Argentina?
Argentina.
Argentina.
And Chuck, our producer, thank you. Dudes Like Us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I am Jeff.
And part of the podcast is whiskey. So we were kind of like, well, we want to talk about something. What is our focus? And we were talking about bourbons and whiskeys, and we started off procuring them, which was kind of the whole thing, how we met our guest tonight, which we'll eventually dive into. But procuring them was kind of the thing. Where are we going to go to do that? So we would shop around, and at first we're novices. Frankly, we're still novices. We
were
really don't know what
stupid.
the hell we're talking about, but we think we do.
We're one of
we
those
didn't have
guys.
the- we didn't have the money at first. We were
No.
Yeah.
starting out really low. And
Oh, yeah. I mean, Paul was the worst. I mean, every
Oh,
freaking
God.
bottle he picked was like a Debbie Downer. I don't know.
Yes.
The Williamsburg, you'll never, ever outlive that one.
it tasted like coconut.
Yeah.
Coconut. What was the other one that was Backbeat? That was so bad.
Oh, my
That was
God.
really good.
That's-
All right, whatever.
I don't know what the deal was. And look, it's not Paul's fault. Hell, it's a roll of the dice.
It was.
It just happened to be that every one he picked was horrible.
He rolled
To the
craps a
point I
lot.
was
Like, you guys never picked a bad bourbon.
no, we was all winners.
Yeah,
all
all of
winners.
I'm
Especially.
excited about tonight, though.
We are.
We're trying something very different tonight.
So one of the ways we would procure them is we'd go to the local spirits place, like Liquor King, Total Wine. What's some of the other ones we go to?
Specs.
So we basically hop that and immaturely, I don't know. We would sample whiskeys because we would like, hey, man, which one are we going to have for the podcast and talk about? So we'd sample them, and we got to the point where we're like, shit, this is the 3rd place we've been to. I'm a little tipsy.
Right.
So, it kind of became our happy hour on Friday. And we didn't mean it to be, but it just happened to be. And one of the venues we went to at Total Wine, we met a young lady, and she does the wine. It's really not our thing, but we're kind of like, oh, well, Jeff is taking on wine, and his wife enjoys it.
Yeah, I'm very interested in wine. Been out to Napa Valley a couple times with my wife. Been down to the Fredericksburg, the Texas wineries down there and stuff like that. So very interested in the wine. So I'm very excited about tonight. Paul is a novice, though.
Yeah.
Well, I know if I drink enough, I feel good. That's kind of my focus.
And it's made of grapes.
So,
That's all I
and I've
know.
got
This was grapes, too?
I've got a food and beverage background from the 2000s, about 7 years working at the Four Seasons Resort, and they ground us through some of the wine and cognacs and different alcohol things. It was kind of fun. But it was in one ear and out the other. But anyways, we met this young lady. Her name's Heather Liner, and she worked at Total Wine. And she's always been a gem up there, and she tried to sell us all kinds of stuff we didn't want, and we ended up buying it anyways. But you know what? I think I bought something, Ho Ho, Jojo, Susu, something kind of Cabernet.
I think your last day we actually bought a couple of Pinots.
Yeah, I bought 2 bottles.
Yeah,
I opened one New Year's Eve
for Thanksgiving. I think
it
it
was one of them, and we still have one more. Of course, that's the kind of cool thing right now is that usually in my lifestyle, I don't know about yours, is that I used to have like 1 or 2 bottles laying around. Now I have got like 2 dozen bottles of wine always there on the shelf, waiting for us to open up. So I'm at a point. My wife, she drinks like the sweet Riesling wines, but Julie likes what?
She likes the white wines. She can't do the reds because of she gets the headaches from them. So I drink the reds. She drinks the whites, whether it's Chardonnay. She's into Pinot Grigio. Right now, Moscato, Riesling. She kind of rotates around those right now.
So,
without any further ado,
welcome
Heather, to the
we're-
podcast.
We're excited about you being here. You agreed to bless us with your presence and kind of educate us because we really need to be educated.
Well, introduce yourself briefly.
Okay, well, my name is Heather, and I'm super excited to be here. I've never done a podcast, so there's a microphone right up in my face. My husband would have so many comments right now.
He'll be here next time, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. So, I kind of got started down this journey. I've got 7 kids, and that wasn't by accident. I wanted 7, and I had 7, and people are like, do you know what causes that? And I'm like, yeah, that's
Alcohol.
why I have 7.
Wine.
Come on.
Wine.
It's a wine.
Why the number 7?
It's the number of completion. Come on.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta have it. So, so I have 7 kids, ages 24 to 10. All right, my youngest just turned 10. So, a big, nice household. 5 still live at home. 2 have flown the coop. Thank God. Thank you. I love you, kids. So I did fitness. I was running about 5 gyms, managing and working at them, and teaching like 27 classes a week. I was in my 40s, like my early 40s. And my back started going out on me. I got to the point where I went to go tie my shoes and couldn't get back up. And I was like, well, I'm 41. This doesn't feel like I should be doing this.
Welcome to middle age.
Yeah, it's weird. You wake up at 40. For younger listeners, you wake up at 40 and your body just breaks. Everything just breaks every day.
Everything changes at 40. I know I had perfect eyesight until 40, and then it went sideways from there. I wear glasses when I drive and watch TV now.
Yeah.
It just as soon as you turn 40, boom.
Yep.
I have
Shit goes
glasses
sideways.
for all that stuff, reading, everything. And anyways, I told my husband, I was like, hey, listen, I can go back to school, get a degree in kinesiology. I know the human body really well. I have over 2,000 hours in yoga certifications and aerials and all this kind of other stuff. And basically, I said that, or the only other thing that interests me is wine. I could do wine. He's like, do that one. That one sounds like fun.
Really, like a career.
You can be a
wine.
chiropractor,
Yeah.
or you can like dabble in Reiki.
Yeah, no. I really enjoyed wine, and I had been to Napa with my sister. I'd been to Fredericksburg, and I like drinking it. I think it's really fantastic.
Right.
And I have a really good palate, so I pick up things that other people don't pick up. And so people have always told me that because I also enjoy beer, that I should brew my own beer because I have a really great flavor, like profile, like I pick up things. And I was
Sure.
like, well, that just sounds really time consuming. And
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's like staring at something to boil. I don't want to do that. So anyways, yeah. So I went down that path, and here I am.
And you are a sommelier.
Yeah, so sommelier. So I'm going through both WSET and Court of Masters, and then also the goal is to be a Master of Wine. That's like a path for people that are really mentally unstable, I think, because it's very hard to do.
So I've seen some these shows where you have these sommeliers on there, and they've got like 10 glasses of wine in front of them, and they're of various colors, and they just hold up the glass, they look at it, they swish it, they sample it, do this all kind of, and they go like, oh yeah, 2003, blah blah blah, and they list off these grapes that are in it, and it's astonishing.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is crazy.
we are trying to get to that point with our bourbons. I mean, what say you? Is that what you want to be? That the end game?
Yeah, so a Master of Wine, it's the hardest program, and it has the fewest number of successes in it. So these people, it's you have to be a WSET graduate, or they really prefer you to be. Then you have to apply to get in, and then once you're in, you're being quizzed on the soil, the climate, more so to the point where you have to have an agricultural background. So I am in school for enology and vinification, which is just the study of winemaking and wine growing, basically. And that'll help me to become a master of wine. So basically, I said I wanted a career where I could spend all the money in the world and not make any for at least 10 years. And that's kind of the path I'm down right now. But I am a beer and wine manager for HEB and their like training program. And So
what is a master of wine? What door does that open for you?
They get to decide their jobs. So I have a few friends that are master of wines. I use the term loosely. We have each other's contact information. If I called them, I don't know that they would know who I was, but they're pretty fantastic people. But basically, you can decide if you want to teach or open up a wine school. You want to travel around the world. You want to review wines. You want to. A lot of vineyards get them to come in and oversee. I mean, they know everything. You've got to know about soil, and you've got to know about like bacteria, and I mean, your whole life surround like you basically give up everything else, and everything is just wine. And so
is that different than the sommeliers you'll see at these fine restaurants?
Yeah. So Court of Master, which I'm also going through. Court of Master is all about service, and WSET is more about like the full array. Like you're learning about really deep diving into sake and bourbon and all that other stuff too once you get past the wine. But the wine is the focus of Court of Master. Like it is just wine. And you've got to know the other spirits and things like that because you've got to be able to serve at your restaurant. Right. But you are going there because you want to serve at a restaurant. I'm doing it because I like to, I never won awards when I was a kid. I was like super dyslexic, super ADHD. And I thought I was really dumb for a long time. And then I took an IQ test and found out that I wasn't. And that did help. But I think because of that lack of like awards, I want all the awards, all of them. Yeah. So if I could just have, the degree and the Court of Master and the WSET and the Master of Wine, and then I'll just be like, now I'm happy.
So you listed all the things that you can do, but what do you like? Where do you want to end up, or do you know?
So really, there's a few options. I think when I like look at the future, I could see myself being like a wine buyer where I'm traveling around the world and I'm finding these people for them, and creating these relationships with them. I could see myself owning a vineyard in Spain or in Napa. Those are my two favorite areas to be. And then, the other thing is maybe writing about wine and like touring and educating people about wine. Right. I do love teaching, so I don't know, but I don't know that I want to be a teacher.
So I pulled up, I asked AI to produce the levels of the levels of sommeliers, and the Court of Masters, 4 exam levels, but the levels include like introductory sommelier, certified sommelier, advanced, master sommelier, level 1 wine course, level 2, 3, and then level 1 wine award. I don't know where that is anywhere in the spectrum. Have nothing, but that's the way they're listed.
I would never have imagined there's that much intensity or
I guess there is
breadth to this whole thing.
Yeah, the failure rate of level 4 is fantastic. It's super, super stressful, but it's that way with all of them. So, I mean, whether you go WSET or if you go any of these, it's just really challenging because you're literally, I mean, these people are devoting their entire life. Like, I don't have friends anymore. My friends have all pretty much been like, you don't like us anymore. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I just like
7
wine
kids?
more.
Do you even have time for that?
Yeah. Well, they don't see me either, but it's okay. I have flashcards to keep me warm.
So is it, so you're going to classes, but you're having to study a lot as well, I imagine, right? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. I have a friend. He's probably going to listen. Hi, Brian. It's my husband's best friend. I'd like to say only friend probably, but wah, wah. Sorry, honey. I love you. No, so he, where are we going? I told you I had ADHD. What is it you said? Yeah, I chased the squirrel. You said something.
Yeah. Jeff, you don't remember what you said
I
either?
completely, I lost it as well.
I'm not even drinking.
We were talking about the levels of wine, and you were taking.
Oh, yes, Brian. Okay, this is so. He's gonna be so excited. He was talked about until I say these words. So I love Brian, but he was like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to become a sommelier as well. I think I'm gonna do it." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I've never heard about this dream that you've always had until I just now heard it." And he's like, yeah, no, totally always wanted to do it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. And he's like, well, how often did you study? And I said, well, on the weekdays while I'm in school and I also have 3 jobs. So, I would study 2 hours every single day, which means I get less sleep because I also work out and I work. And then on the weekends, I spend another 10 hours studying.
And
He was like, "Oh, yeah, I thought it would be easier."
You just can't go online and click a box. I'm now a sommelier.
No,
These aren't like
though.
continuing education ones for work.
No, it's
Yeah.
intense. It sounds like there's a lot of work you got to put into it.
Mhm.
Well,
It's like
and I think
becoming a
the-
doctor. You spend a lot of this money to
Well,
realize.
kinesiology is no joke. You know, I mean,
That probably would have been easier and cheaper.
And without knowing that much about wine, and I know we're going to talk a lot about it tonight, but I mean, my impression of so our journey through bourbon, right? A bourbon is a bourbon is a bourbon, whiskey is a whiskey is a whiskey, but we're finding out that not really, right? I mean, there's a story behind every single bottle.
Right.
There's differences. I mean, the diversity and the variety is there, but I don't think it's quite as diverse and quite as the variety as wine.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's so many more grapes. There's so many areas of the world. There's so many different climates and soil to focus on. And I'm sure we'll talk about this, but I think it's massively more diverse than the
Yes.
bourbon. Would you guys agree with that?
I agree
Or-
100%.
Right.
100%.
So that should be that is an interesting difference.
I feel like, I mean, in a way, yeah. But I mean, if you think about the grains that are put into bourbon and the soil and the climate is affecting it, the state is
True.
affecting it, how it's, distilled or whatever is affecting. I mean, you look at, the distillery that we all went to very recently. When we were there, they distilled theirs differently than anybody I've ever seen, and I've been to a lot of distilleries. So it's just like,
Yep.
every distillery I've been to is a little bit different.
you're
and
referring to the 1845
Yeah,
distillery.
that's right. You
I
went to
am.
Shout out to the Lowry Crossing.
Yeah, you went to the tour with us.
nicest people ever. They're so
They really
amazing.
are.
Bob June.
Yeah.
We need to go visit
Ben,
again.
Ben, don't
God
forget
bless.
Ben.
Did you see
Yeah.
they're releasing a new double oak whiskey?
Yeah.
Double oak whiskey.
Ooh.
I'm
Oh,
on
I did
the
not see
need to
that.
know list. And well,
Yes.
do you read your emails? Come on.
Actually, I do.
Came out
So-
today.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I actually had to work today.
called
You
the-
Archie.
The Panhandle something or other.
Yeah, I think I saw the title, but I haven't
Yeah.
read it yet either.
They've been talking for like a couple of weeks that it was going to come out.
I'll
Yeah.
buy that instantly.
There it is right there.
Yep, there it
Panhandle.
is. Hi.
Panhandle Proud. All right.
Straight whiskey, double oaked.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Very nice. All right, we'll have to jump on that for sure.
They didn't let us taste that during our.
They didn't
No,
have
well,
it.
that was the Texian, I think, when we were there with
Yeah.
the Hungarian barrels. This one's different. It's got a different label and everything. Look at that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nice.
Ooh.
I'm gonna squirrel it real quick. So did y'all know that there is a beer company out there, and oh god, I should have looked at it. Eclipse, and they're making their beer in bourbon barrels, and they have one from the Garrison Brothers bourbon barrels. Like, it's pretty cool. They're not cheap. I think they're
The
we s-
50-50 Brewing Company.
yeah. We sell, one of our things is we're trying to bring in a lot of craft beer, and so that was one of the ones that it just like. I think it's like $25 or something, but I'm like totally worth it.
You
For
know,
one bottle?
For
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It is 12.5% alcohol.
Oh, God, boy.
you're saying for
There was
one,
a time where Jeff and I would have dove head first in to get that bottle.
I mean,
yeah.
but it's like
But it's a big bottle.
Yeah,
It's a big old 16
this
ounce.
big.
It's about
but-
16 ounce.
Yeah.
Look at that, man.
Yeah.
That's-
for $25 for a 16-ounce bottle.
You know, I'd be willing to try one of those. I'm not. It's not outside my
And that
league.
brewery's out there in Lowry Crossing?
No. Sorry, I said squirrel. This is
Oh.
my squirrel.
That's from Truckee,
So-
California.
Truckee.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but the I thought it was cool that they're using Garrison Brothers, like that,
Oh, yeah.
that
Cool.
we're on the map. Well, Texas is on the map for that.
You know, Texas has taken quite the lead. I think it's not the lead, but it's definitely nudging its way
It is.
neck to neck
Mhm.
with.
Jumped on the scene, no question
God
about
bless. I mean, we're putting out some fantastic whiskeys and
it.
bourbons.
Well, and I think it's
Yeah.
our climate. Our climate is
Mhm.
very advantageous because we can age much faster than they do in Kentucky.
so
right?
look,
Correct.
Oh, yeah, what's our strategy tonight?
Heather Liner, check her out on her Instagram and FB. Look up that
FB.
Facebook.
Oh,
Instagram
Come on,
and
Jeff.
Facebook. That Som from Texas.
I'm old.
That Som SOMM from TX. So check Heather Liner's stuff out there, and she'll get you lined up with some fantastic products.
Gotcha. All right.
All right, so
well,
what's
let's
our strategy
yeah,
tonight?
let's crack into one of these things and let's start discussing
Okay.
wines and
Yeah, pretend we're stupid
grapes and
and absolute novices, and we need to know just about everything.
Okay,
Well-
but we've got three, right?
Yes,
So
okay.
talk about the general strategy for tonight.
Okay, so I figured I'd just kind of give y'all some facts about wine in the United States. And I thought if I'm going to feature wine in the United States, while we are in Texas, and if anybody knows Texans, we're like very proud of everything we do. We
Right.
always think it's the best, but I wanted to focus on the 3 biggest AVAs of the United States. So that's going to be California and Washington and Oregon. So we're going to start off with a, do you want me to just introduce the one?
Yep.
Yeah, just the one right now.
Sure.
All right. And I'll just pass it around. Like,
Well, actually, yeah, we can pass it around. I put my cup over there.
Well,
Did
yeah.
you?
Why don't we just put
Oh,
the
just
glasses
all
over
of them?
there?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be easier?
that would be easier than I just pass y'all the glass.
Because that way we don't have
Yeah.
inequity and fighting.
Chuck, I put your glass over here. Chuck's like, hey,
Okay.
man.
1, 2.
Because I could
3,
see
4,
Sean
5,
overpouring
5 of
himself
us.
on
There we
purpose.
go.
Oh, yeah. I'd stick a straw in it.
Okay, so this is Cross Fork Creek. It is a Merlot. I don't drink a lot of Merlots. I'm going to start us off small like I would if I was doing a really very nice pour of a tasting in a tasting room.
That's perfect. Yes.
Oh, no. I
That's
can't
all
do
right.
it from here. There's a microphone in my face.
Well, you
I'm
can,
going to need a napkin.
Well, we
I'll
could,
get you
I'll tell
one.
you what. I can fill up some of the fill if you need to step away from the microphone for a second.
I'm like, oh, my God. I can't do
Get a
this.
clip on.
They don't test you this, and when you're going through your testing, you don't learn how to talk with the microphone in your face. Yeah, no. So this is going to be from Yakima. This is it's going to be from the Washington wine. So a lot of people are familiar with Oregon. Just take one down, pass it around. Let me not spill anything else. Okay.
All right. So, is there a particular area of Washington? Like, are we talking northeast? Does it matter? Or
So with Washington, just in general, like it's an interesting area because they don't grow the grapes everywhere. So like and I suppose that's pretty normal for most places, minus like California. That's like, hey, a grape will grow here, let's grow it, you know. But they've got like the predominant area is going to be like in the very southern area, and then they've got some over to the western side, and like so it's just like a lot of land that they don't grow anything, and then they have the places that they do, the places that they're going to thrive the most. Grapes like cold and they like dry. They don't really like wet climates.
okay.
Oh, I always like throwing this word in because it bothers people. Moist.
Moist.
No, we love that word.
We try to work that in at least 3
We
times.
say it a
podcast.
lot on this podcast.
Yeah. Ding.
Usually
Yeah.
because of Sean.
Every time there's the word,
Yeah.
an
He
angel
has
gets its
moistness.
wings.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what I found interesting about this is, I tried to pick a low cost wine, a mid priced wine, and then a higher end wine.
Okay.
So this is a lower priced wine, but it drinks really well. Yeah. There you go. There it is. Yeah.
He's got a map pulled up of the
yeah.
what looks
So-
like the more.
And you'll see how moist it's not.
Well,
I've got
yeah,
a-
it looks pretty arid.
I got
right?
a
don't see
question
lot of forest.
regarding the grape. So I know there are Cabernet. There are all kinds of grapes out there.
Yeah.
Like how many grapes are in this one?
It's a
this
Merlot,
one,
right?
okay, so there's not a lot of tasting notes on this guy. We're going to say for all intents and purposes, it's going to be at least 75% Merlot because it has to be to have that on the title. But we don't know, honestly. I mean, I'm going to go with mostly Merlot. I mean, I don't know.
Like Bordeaux has 7 grapes in it.
Yeah, depending on where you are is like how many grapes you can have and what grapes you can use, and they're one of the more definitely harder places. The other hardest one is Priorat, which is my favorite region. That's in Spain. But
This is terrific, by the way.
yeah, right. It's like $20-something.
You're supposed to wait.
Yeah, I haven't
Oh.
tried
No.
it.
Y'all tell me what you think. I want y'all to tell me what y'all taste. I want to hear it from bourbon drinkers. What do you
I
taste?
didn't get the memo.
All right, are we doing the nose and the palate and the finish? Or
Do whatever
like we do with a
comes
bourbon, or what are
naturally
we
to
doing here?
you. Whatever comes naturally to you.
I'm gonna dip my mustache in it.
No, I'm not going to do that.
$27. That's how much it cost. But y'all, like, tell me what you're smelling, what you're thinking, what you're tasting. I taste red wine.
This was like red wine.
So-
Some black currant, maybe?
current, like ocean current.
Yeah, ocean currant.
Just like
Ocean
that.
current.
No different. No
Very
different.
salty.
So it's
Little
aged with
seaweed.
ocean water. Okay.
What do y'all think? And it's okay if you don't like wine. If you try one and you don't like it, like that's the beauty of wine is that some people will like it and some people won't. What I like about this Merlot is
tart.
it's very easy to drink.
It's super easy. I think it's a sweet and dry. It's one of those that's right in the middle. I think. I mean, I've had really sweet ones and then really dry ones. I'm thinking this one's leaning on the dry side, towards the middle on the dry side.
I don't pick that up. I think there is some dryness, but I think it's more right. I think it's right in the middle, for me anyway.
Yeah.
The finish is very short on it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you guys.
So for
It
me,
goes away pretty quick.
it does not smell or taste dry to me. It does taste.
Are you smelling it through your semblance screen?
No,
Oh,
no, I'm not.
He's smelling it through the one ear that's not working.
That's right. And by the way, your sentences are heightened when one ear is bad, the other is good. Just so you know. So I'm actually superior in my analysis.
Like a
than you guys
superhero
are.
trait.
Oh my
Right.
God!
No, so it's strange. I would have expected it to be a very, very powerful taste, and it tastes almost like a diluted somewhat. You know, I don't know how to describe
So
that.
that's going to be the Merlot grape that you're tasting.
Okay.
So Merlots are not they're considered like silky, smooth,
Yes.
velvety.
Silky is a good word.
Yeah, nobody is like, "Oh my God, did you try that Merlot? I mean, it was just a banger." Like nobody says that.
Exactly. I was expecting
Yeah.
kind of a harsh is not the right word, but a powerful finish.
Right.
And
yeah.
it never happened.
Yeah, it's just she's just trying to be silky smooth. She's like, just hey, cuddle up
Ooh.
with me, you know?
If you want something easy to drink, you'd recommend a Merlot, right?
Yeah, Merlot's the easy girl.
Ooh.
Interesting. I've never thought of my drink as an intimate experience.
I'm tasting like blueberries, blackberries, something like the dark berry.
I definitely
Variety.
picked it up on the nose. Lots of berries on the nose.
Yeah,
I feel stupid saying this, but I because I don't drink wine. This is probably the second time in my life I've tried a Merlot, but I tasted, I smelled grape juice.
Yeah,
So I mean that's
okay.
kind of a stupid thing to say.
I got a little.
But I mean, literally, if I was at
like,
the store,
this is very
drinking-
Welch's.
right? If I were to smell that, I got some of that.
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, of course.
Yeah.
But
I think one thing that I like about this is that you get one of the things that I really enjoy about wines is when they start getting those like floral compounds, and this is almost like dried floral, dried violet, almost like you're picking up not like a potpourri and like eating it, but you know, just getting that hint of that dried violet. And you know, girls probably know that more. Let me be a little sexist here, but like, you know, we used to press our flowers. Like somebody got us a flower, we pressed it in a book, and then like when it dried up, we'd smell it. We'd be like,
Sean does
I
that
remember
today.
this forever.
yeah. You should see his journal.
I know.
Every time Paul or Jeff travel, because I don't travel as much because my wife has agoraphobia. So when they bring back flowers, I always press
He
it.
presses them.
I keep
We
it.
don't bring back flowers. You bring back
Then
flowers.
you frame them and hang
Yeah,
them on
and-
your wall.
and-
I
When he
got,
talks about going on a trip, he's like,
There's-
"Oh, that's the hibiscus trip."
I'm tasting like you said, currant.
right.
I taste it like a little licorice kind of in there too. You
yeah,
know,
and you're getting a little bit of chocolate as well.
there's chocolate.
Yeah.
But it's not real strong.
Vanilla, even just
Mhm.
kind of piping in there.
Yeah, when I say the currant, it's not real strong, but I think there's a hint of it in there. I'm sure when we get to some of these others, it's going to be stronger.
I get a lot of
I'm
caramel
really enjoying this.
and vanilla and leather.
There's none of that.
Oh wait, sorry.
Butterscotch.
Sorry, I'm on cruise control with bourbon.
I will say like real quick, just because some of your listeners might not be wine drinkers. I know that'd be shocking. But so people will ask me how do they get the fruit in there? How do they get the flower in there? How do they get the tobacco in there? And that's all soil and climate and you know, and in the environment, like the fires really added a really terrible taste to the wines that were made that year that weren't harvested beforehand. But they were not added to the wine. Like that's just its natural flavor that it gets.
So I mean, like bourbon, they char the barrels. I mean, what
Mhm.
do they? Is wine put in like these metal casks, or are they in barrels as well, or what's? Because
Yeah, what-
1845
would
they
it
have these
be-
large vats.
Would
Yeah.
it be painful to go through a quick overview of the whole process of the wine making?
God.
Tick
I mean,
tock, tick
I mean,
tock.
Yeah.
without going into
Yeah,
like
yeah,
major
yeah,
detail. Give
yeah.
us a highlight.
Give us the cliff notes.
Okay, let's say red or white wine. I mean, if we just dumb it down and we just leave out sparkling entirely, the best way I could say that you do it is you're taking these grapes from the vineyard,
Sure.
you are bringing them, and immediately that day
Can we
sorting.
hit pause?
Yeah.
You're taking them from the vineyard. At what point do we get to frolic and step and smash
She's
the
gonna
grapes
get
with
to
our
that.
bare
Oh.
feet?
I was going to talk about your feet here in a second. I was getting there. I just
Oh,
thought
just
that
the
was
feet. It's not like not a full naked experience.
Okay,
Well, it
wow.
could be, I guess.
I think it's in Austria where they all gather arms and they have this giant vat and they all walk across it, and it's a whole day thing. Like they walk on it all day. There's a band that plays. There's food.
It's a celebration, a massive
It
celebration.
is, yes. Okay, so yeah, no. So you get the grapes. They're in these ginormous, like what is the word? The size of the trucks. What are they called? The semi, like that size, or you
Yes.
can get smaller ones.
Okay.
The higher end ones usually use smaller ones, and the reason is you don't want your grapes crushed. So
Okay.
now you got to get it to the sorting table. plops down on the sorting table and you've got like 4 people up there and they're just grabbing crap, right? They're grabbing hopefully just leaves and branches, but sometimes lizards, snakes, birds, bats,
Oh, sure.
bracelets, whatever, that the bracelet was the funny one. Anyways, it's a whole nother story, but so I've pulled out a lizard and I've pulled out a bracelet.
Well, they do have filters.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So
I mean, they got the whole grape they got to filter out. But
Yeah,
have you lost a
yeah.
grape there? Is that what you get? Or I'm sorry, a bracelet or one of your friends?
no, it was probably one of the workers out in the field.
Sure.
It's like going to a restaurant and ordering a salad and tossed a Caesar salad and it shows up with a ring and they're like, how'd that get in there?
Or a Band-Aid.
But I think it's a little bit easier to
And Nancy
understand.
Pelosi comes out of the kitchen. She's like, hey, where's my ring?
I think, okay, so if you imagine, like, if you're a field worker, you're getting paid by how much you can produce, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you've got, like, these, like, crazy shears that could, like, cut a kid's bones open. I don't know why I had to be a kid, but maybe better than I don't know. Anyways, they're out there cutting the grapes and just think, like, it snaps
Freudian.
the bracelet,
Yeah, like
just
zip, zip,
barely,
zip, zip,
yeah,
zip.
just
And
barely
they're going
hits
a million
their,
miles a second.
Yeah, they don't even notice they lost their bracelet by the time
a
they
little
figure
friendship
out.
bracelet.
Yeah.
They just completely lost it.
Yeah, lost
Yeah.
the friend too. You never know. Anyways, haven't pulled a person out yet. But anyway, so they sort the grapes, then the grapes go into a distimmer. The distimmer. Now we're assuming this is not being done by hand. Because that's a whole nother process. Okay. So the distimmer is going and that's taking all the stems out. You're hoping the grapes are staying pretty much intact. And now they're going to dump them with these giant hoses and pumps into either stainless steel is generally what's going to be used. Sometimes there's other things when they start the fermentation process, and that's when all the magical numbers, when they test it, are all perfect. They're like, okay, it's ready. So if they're going to start doing the fermentation in something else, this is where they're going to move it. Maybe it's going to be a smaller stainless steel like device, or it's going to be a ceramic egg, or it's going to be a barrel or whatever. But it's going to depend on what flavor they want.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So where you were talking about it gets put into a smaller one or a barrel. So,
Right.
So we can pause and then you can pick it up.
Yeah, so it's getting this is where the part of the winemaker right now is. I mean, well, all of this is going to depend on the winemaker, but he's trying to taste his wine from this point. Be like, how do I want to make this taste? And that's where it becomes a science. And he's got to start. If he's going to blend it, this is where it's done here, or it could be done at the very end after all the wines are made with their own grapes and then blended, which is actually more common in smaller production.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. And then they ferment it. And, that's going to just depend on, like, the length of time for the fermentation is going to depend on the grape. It's going to depend on the temperature and all this other stuff. But I mean, that's basically it. You're doing a fermentation, but you have to first start the process in these giant tanks.
Don't you also ferment it to determine how sweet it is as well? The longer you ferment, the more of the sugars you take out?
Yes and no. I mean, some grapes are going to just have more sugar anyways, but you can ferment without losing a ton of the sugar. I mean, you're going to lose the primary thing, like the yeast goes in there and eats it, and that's like what causes the alcohol to be created. But the process, like when it's done, the sweetness level is going to depend on the winemaker.
So does a drier wine have less sugar in it?
Generally speaking, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I hear these
Interesting.
people that are wanting like low sugar wines, and I'm like, well, I mean, most of your wines are low sugar. They're not really high in sugar unless you're drinking the ones that taste sweet. And if they taste sweet, then they've got sugar. And some people think that their dry wine is sweet, or that their sweet wine is dry, and it's just not. But they can't taste that, right? But for the most part, if you're looking at like a glass of red wine, you've got about 1 gram to 3 grams of sugar. So.
All right. So it's ultimately put into barrels
Yeah.
and aged.
Well,
how?
the metal cask, right? The
That's
big
where it
ones.
ferments.
Where it
That's where it
ferments,
ferments.
and then they put it into the barrels. Is that where?
Yeah,
Yes.
and I've got like live pictures of all of this,
Are
but
they
obviously
like the
it'd
big
be really hard.
55
But
gallon, 100 gallon, or the like
So,
bourbon barrel styles?
yeah, again, you're going in with all these things. There's the barriques. There's just all these different
It's a
styles.
variety.
Yeah, it really
And that's
does.
what crafts the different flavors.
Right.
Everyone has their own little niche.
Yeah,
All right.
depending
Well,
on
it's kinda,
yeah.
You went a little bit. You went further than I was expecting, which is perfect. So we're gonna embrace the hell out of that.
So you chose this one.
Yeah, yeah.
What about this one? So why? Why this one? What's special about this?
So I think a lot of people don't drink Merlot anymore. I think it was very popular in the 80s. I think it was really popular even in the 90s. I think that people kind of got away from it, and Cab became king in Texas, and we live in Texas. Cab became king in the U.S., and people, they wanted that.
Merlot's my favorite, personally.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. My parents drank Merlot in the 80s. I remember that.
Yeah. That was the first wine I ever had Chianti's, but the first one I had that was not an Italian was a Merlot. So I was raised on wine. My family's Italian, so you basically drank wine or you weren't Italian anymore.
Or you dehydrate.
Yeah, I mean, there's only hey, like back in the day,
then drink the wine.
Drink
the wine.
They did that back in the day when the plague was going around because it was clean. So they drink a lot of wine.
Yeah, that's what it was. A lot of the waters you couldn't drink. I mean, you go down the river, you have to pass. Yeah. You clean it up.
Why do you think I drank a shitload of bourbon during COVID?
Yeah.
Same philosophy.
Just drown it out.
No, I mean the water was tainted, wasn't it?
Anywho,
all right, never mind.
So this, are we going to rate this? We don't have a wine.
Gosh, I don't know how to rate this.
Can.
On a scale of 1 to dinosaur, what do you think?
Let's just go
pterodactyl.
How about excellent,
for
good?
The podcast, what we normally do, which we're not going to do for this one, but what we normally do is we rate the whiskeys that we sample, and then we write it down in a little book somewhere, and then when we cross that path again, and we kind of figure out what's the variance between our two ratings. But for this one right here,
why don't we go with very good, good, mediocre, or not for me?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I'll start it off. I'll say it's very good. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
This was good.
I'm going to go with good.
Okay.
I'm just going to
Awesome.
good.
Well, awesome. I'm glad that could please y'all.
The Cross Fork
Heather,
Merlot
what for you?
2022.
Yeah.
Heather,
yeah.
what for you? Would you say for you this was a very good or just a good? Or
I think it was good.
She was being nice. Chuck, you want to weigh in?
Sure, I thought it was good.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There we go. So we got 3 goods, a very good, and 4 goods.
Well, Sean said the Merlot was one of his favorites, so
yeah,
he may be.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the drier the wine for me, the better. In the Merlot's it's right in the sweet spot for me. What's drier than the Merlot? Is the Cabernet actually drier?
Yeah, it's going to depend
long.
on where it was made and
So it's another matrix equation.
Yeah.
It's never a simple question.
So every winemaker uses a brixometer or some type of device, and in Europe they use something else, and it measures the sugar and the sugar level of the grape when they harvest. And every winemaker has a different sugar level that they want to harvest at, and so long story
so
short,
timing of harvest. Totally
it is so important.
How much sugar's in the grape?
Yeah, because the hotter it gets, then the more the sun sits in, the sugar goes shoop, shoop, shoop. Because think about like a raisin. If you eat a raisin versus a grape, the grape is juicy, it's nice, and it's easy to eat. You eat a raisin, you're like, oh, that is some sweet shit right there.
So the harvest season can fluctuate.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like dramatically?
Yeah, and you've also got to avoid rain and frost.
Like by how much can it, like if it's generally in October, can it be as early as July and as late as December, or
it
like how
can?
Much?
It used to not vary a ton, but in the past few years, there's been a lot of people in the industry that are super worried because the climate's changing so much.
Sure.
That it's like you can't. It's like when I was in Napa and when I was in Priorat, both times. Oh, and in Corpinat, there was a rain that came right before a harvest, and that's not good. I mean, you think moist grapes, not good when they're moist on the outside. They start to rot.
Is that where Keanu Reeves comes out of the woodwork and breaks out his little butterfly things and starts cooling?
Yes.
What is that? The Walk in the Clouds? What's that?
I
haven't seen it. I have not seen it.
Oh, you have not?
No.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie.
Okay. Well, I mean, my fourth born son, he said that Keanu Reeves is his dad, and I'm like, I think I would have remembered that.
There you go, up on the thing.
You're like,
1995, they
there
put
you
out
go.
Walk in the
Wow,
Clouds.
he looks like a baby.
He does.
Shortly
Yeah.
after Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Far out, dude.
So
you totally rock.
Let me go get crates.
Being so into wine, you definitely should see this because it's got a huge wine element
does
to
it?
It's
Okay.
it's about vineyards. Yeah.
It's a
God,
romantic
okay.
drama, and essentially he meets this woman, and her family has a vineyard, and they've got this morsel. The whole thing's dying off, and they don't know what's going on. They figure it out, and they're like, oh, we only have one more field or one more Yeah,
and he turns into a butterfly.
No. What they
He turns
what it
into
is
a
is that
butterfly.
there's some sort of a frost or something that's happening. So they've got these big heaters out there, and they all
that's a real thing.
have these wings that they put
Yeah,
on
they
their
have-
arms, and they're fanning the vineyards
They're
Yeah.
to keep them warm.
distributing the heat.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Oh,
that was
okay.
the thing. It was a great movie. I enjoyed it, and kind of
There you
kind of
go.
like what is the Whitney Houston in
The
Bodyguard.
I was thinking the same
I
thing. Another-
haven't seen that movie either.
Who
Sean's into
are
chick
you?
flicks.
I don't know.
Sean's
I don't
into chick
remember
flicks.
a
Dude,
vineyard in
I'm
The
man
Bodyguard
enough
either.
to be into chick flicks. I don't
Chick
care.
flicks.
Oh, it's a
I
great
love
movie.
it.
The
Huh?
Bodyguard. Yeah, The Bodyguard's good. It's got
Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I
see
haven't
how, do
seen
you see
it.
how we deviate? All right. So you
7 kids.
Yeah.
She's just like, really? I got time
study.
for a
I
movie?
study a lot.
So I had asked you, why did you choose this one?
Okay, so Crossport Creek. The cool thing about this Merlot is it's affordably priced. I mean, not everybody's going to pay $30 for a table wine, but
Sure.
for me, that's an inexpensive table wine. What are we laughing at?
He's bringing up The
wow.
No,
Bodyguard.
I'm thinking
Okay.
about you and your reaction, and you're like, we're doing our thing, and you're just like,
You're like, can you guys stop?
this uncomfortable laugh.
Yeah.
You're like,
Not-
Can you
I
guys
know.
stop talking?
No,
now?
I'm just thinking about how many of my friends are going to judge me for not seeing these movies. Like, I love Whitney Houston. I'll sing her songs. Well, not well, but I'll
wow,
sing them.
yeah,
That's
challenge
second half.
accepted.
No,
That's
I have
second
a
half.
deep voice. I sing deep songs. No, but okay. So, anyways, but yeah,
Barry
no,
White?
I like
Anne Murray.
not quite that deep. I like it because it's got a little spice to it. It's got a little violet to it, and it's affordable. That's why I
Well,
like it.
we got to jump on the next one
Okay.
because we're going to tick-tocking.
Nicholas J. right here. This is a Pinot Noir 2022. This is from Willamette. Damn it.
All right.
And I'm
So-
just going to pass the bottle because clearly with the microphone in my face, I can't
Well, you can
pour wine.
you can briefly
I'll just
step away
pass
from
it.
the microphone.
I probably poured too much.
Oh,
There we
no.
go.
You got to watch out for Sean.
So this one's called negligee.
He'll rim it.
No,
Nicholas J.
No.
Oh, see, there's my
It's-
hearing.
it's
It's not my fault.
It's not true.
It's not my fault.
I do have some information. So
You're
this
such a
one,
nut.
this one's a really cool one because so as the price point goes up, people that I won't that matter to the wine industry drink these wines, rate them, talk about them. It's harder to get those kind of notes, those same kind of things from the less expensive wines because Jeb Dunnick and all these people, they don't want to go out there and be like, hey, I rated this $20 wine. I rated this $10 wine. And no, they want to rate the really high end wines,
Ooh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, I'm not
So yeah,
crazy.
when I have friends that drink wine and I want to get like a nice wine for them, and I've only done this like, a handful, maybe a half dozen times, I'm usually getting the $20, $25 bottle.
Yeah.
So I've never even purchased a bottle that's in this range. So I certainly wouldn't know what the pleasure of it. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
excited.
That
This
smells
one,
good.
yeah.
Okay, what is this?
one's-
Describe the bottle again.
Okay, so this is the 2022 Pinot Noir called Nicholas J.
Okay.
And it is from Willamette, which is how you pronounce that for anybody listening who always-
Willamette.
Yeah,
I was
this
thinking
is-
Yeah.
Willamette.
No, don't call it
Willamette,
Willamette.
don't quit.
I tell you what, every time I saw this, every time I saw this, I thought it was Williamette.
Yeah, it's common.
Willamette.
Like Paso Robles is
Willamette.
not Robles. Yeah, there's
It's Willamette.
let's just make it
All right, this is
difficult.
Oregon.
It is, yeah. It's
All right, so we have a picture.
Willamette.
We have a picture up in here.
Now, I
Look
would
at
go
this.
as far as to say that in Oregon, you're going to find more natural wines than you will anywhere else in the U.S. They are really proud of their natural wines.
Especially Pinot. Those are big up in this
Yeah,
region,
yeah.
right?
And I mean, it's like the perfect grape growing region for Pinot. Pinot is very thin skinned, and I always heard that, and I never really took it into account until I was doing harvest this last year. And yeah, it was this last year because now it's been a year. We're getting older so fast. Anyways, sorry, bird, squirrel, what? Okay. Yeah, no, so the Cabernet grapes, they're very thick skinned. Like when you hear that, like it really is. And then you get like a Pinot Noir grape and like you just barely touch it. It's like, you're like, oh wow, that's really different. I mean, I felt like even the Chardonnay grapes, like some of them were tougher than the Pinot Noir. So it's just a finicky grape. It's a really hard one to grow. And I would say that the people that grow Pinot Noir have to really love it because it's the most challenging grape to grow.
So I've never heard of the thickness of the skin. Okay, so I could definitely see how it impacts the fragility of it.
Yeah.
But does it affect? What else does it affect? The thickness of the
Okay,
skin.
so
It's got to affect like how much moisture gets into
Wait.
it and how much heat gets into it.
have you not seen the movie Sideways?
No.
I'm gonna like spurt out a wine movie that's like super weird, but okay, no, so it can get sunburnt really easily, like
Thin skin.
very
Okay.
thin. You think the sun starts to come down on it. Also, like thin skin, weather is going to get to it. Birds can get to it. Like anything,
Sure.
like you can look at it wrong and it
Very
just bursts
challenging.
open. You know,
Yeah, very challenging to grow.
it is. And then
and
think
in
about
very limited areas.
right. And if you're sorting through
Okay.
these grapes and they're very thin skinned, you're having to be extremely delicate with them because they're like wanting to just burst open on the sorting table. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so people have soft fingers working with this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It is true. After doing a harvest, your hands and clothes are definitely a different color. They're not the same.
Well, I really enjoy this one more
All
so
right.
than the
Yeah.
Merlot.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some funk in the nose, some earthiness,
Mm-hmm.
dirt kind of a thing is what I'm
Yeah.
picking up.
Yeah, this one's really good. So the reason I picked this one is because this is
That's good.
yeah. I've got a couple of Pinot Noirs I really
The
like.
cranberries.
I was really on the I don't like Pinot Noir, but I love a good Pinot Noir, and there's a huge difference because there's a lot of good cabs. There is not a lot of good Pinot Noirs, and so I chose one from Willamette, and some of mine are actually from Sonoma that I love as well. But yeah, I think it's good.
What's
Very
the
interesting.
sticker price on this ish?
Yeah, so this one, it is. I believe this one was the one that was $55. I think it's 55.
This is excellent.
So let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
So other wines in this category, are they all generally the same price or dramatic differences in price like we would find in bourbon?
Well, I'll tell you the number one selling Pinot Noir at every store I've worked at, which is all of two, has been Meiomi, which has you always try to be very kind. It's very sweet. It's like very sweet. Like if you're looking for a low sugar wine, it is not that. But I do feel like a really good Pinot Noir is going to be a drier wine. It's going to come off as more Burgundian in style, which, when we talk about Burgundy, France, they just produce drier wines. Americans are really into sugar, which makes sense if like we went down the rabbit hole of the history of wine. But this one is just, Pinot Noir will pick up some funk. It will, and it's just because it's so susceptible to picking up so much more. If you have a good Pinot Noir, it means that you have worked with a great winemaker because they're not all great. And so I would say the price point for any Pinot Noir that I will drink starts at $50. I won't even drink one that's less.
So I'm trying to understand the reason for the price difference, right? A lot of times it's just how proud they are of their wine.
Right.
It is what it is. But I mean, if it's, if they go through an extra process or if the grape is superior, there has to be all of those factor in, right?
Yeah, you're losing so much of your harvest because it's so, soft and it can dry
Interesting.
up so easily. Like you'll go through and you'll have to throw away giant branches of them just because they're dried out. Like
So they're generally going to be more expensive just because of that.
yeah, because when you get an expensive Cabernet, it's because they're proud of making it. But a Pinot Noir, it's expensive because they've put so much more time into it. So
This has a very interesting, slight sour taste to me.
Yep.
Now, sour is not
Tart. It's a tart.
tart. That's the better word. And
Yep.
it's interesting because it like completely dries out my tongue.
Yeah. I love it.
Despite not being dry, when I'm done drinking it, it's like my tongue is completely.
It's like an argument between cherries and plums. It's like going back and forth. It's like
Yeah,
bitch slapping.
I'm picking up some cherries, both cherries and plums on this. Yeah, I prefer this much more than the Merlot.
Interesting.
Love them both. This one I love more.
Yeah, I'm a big Pinot Noir fan.
So this one is
Why not?
actually
You say Pinot?
A Pinot Noir.
this one is actually unfiltered, and a lot of people don't like unfiltered wine. So I'm happy to hear that y'all like it because I like.
I love the
think they're
chewiness.
fun,
If it's
yeah.
unfiltered, we're probably gonna like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all are bourbon drinkers, so there's that.
We have the Garrison Brothers Cowboys. There's actually sticks and chunks floating.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
It was fantastic.
We pulled a tumbleweed out.
They actually chew on it.
and part of a bracelet.
I was drinking the Balmoral last night. The Balmoral
Good
and
for
I
you, man.
had a little run in together so that I could take a hot bath and go to bed really quickly, and that does it for me.
I got to tell you, for the record, I'm disappointed your husband couldn't make it. I was super excited about him joining on
yeah.
the second half.
Yeah, we met him at the, the
you
tour.
call
as
him
well.
Yeah.
up. He's got 20 minutes to get here.
He can't leave work. He's at work. That's why he can't.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Look, here's a picture of him. It's like he's here.
Always
There
seen
you
him
go.
before.
There he is.
Yeah,
Prop
we
him
met
up.
him at
That's us in
1845.
Napa.
Okay,
Yeah.
another question.
Okay, yeah.
The alcohol content.
On this one, it is. I was not prepared for that question. Let me see if it's.
You can tell us anything.
Well,
I can look on the bottle.
No,
Let me
really,
see the bottle.
my question is there consistency without in this category of wine? Is
No.
it not even that.
Nothing. There's nothing consistent in Pinot Noir. 13.5% on this, which is it can be high for a Pinot.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is what I would call a good Pinot. If I was working in a restaurant and, you were asking for a great Pinot Noir, I wouldn't mind recommending this bottle,
Sure.
and
100%.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
this
would
is
drink
delicious.
this every day. This is a fantastic bottle, to the point where I am super excited to dive into the third one. We don't have to I haven't finished this one, but I'm like, this is like excellent.
Yeah, we may finish this bottle tonight.
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna finish all three actually.
So going back to proof, I mean, we're obsessed with proof in the
Yeah.
bourbon world.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want to drink things less than
You don't really look at that at wine.
that. Exactly.
You can-
why is that?
You can have over alcohol wine, in my opinion, where that's all you taste, and you don't want to taste that in the wine.
Interesting.
There's people that look for higher percentages of alcohol in wine, and then there's people that they don't care. They're just looking for a good wine. The majority of people that are looking for a higher percentage of alcohol, they're not like connoisseurs of wine. They're
Right.
like, hey, I want to get messed up and I want a bottle
Sure.
of wine. What are you going to hand me?
Like Mad Dog 2020.
Well, but in the
Yeah.
bourbon world, we're finding that the much higher proof bourbons are actually tastier,
See, and
Yeah,
I don't.
that's what I'm
I-
getting.
and we're enjoying
Ugh.
them. But that's not the case in wine.
No,
yeah, and
no,
I don't like the higher proof. My husband does like
You
the
talking
higher
about bourbon or
proof
wine?
bourbon. It's some
No.
of the wines. It depends.
So with the bourbon, for those wine drinkers out there that don't
Mhm.
know, you don't drink it at the same rate. For the higher proof bourbons, you don't drink it at the same rate you drink the lower proof ones.
Mhm.
You take smaller sips, and you enjoy it longer.
Right.
You don't do shots of it. You burn a hole in your. That's not enjoyable. Not even for the people that like bourbons. It's not enjoyable to do a shot of 140 Cowboy or something like
not
that.
at
Come on.
all. I totally
No.
agree.
I mean, Jeff
Sean.
does it, but
Yeah.
I will say that because my husband is going to listen to this, I drink my bourbon rather fast.
Yeah.
I don't shoot it, but I just sip it. He'll look over and he's like, damn, where'd your glass go? And I'm like, well, I mean, it's such a small glass. It's gone.
Well, there's another thing. You drink San Pellegrino, as we noted before the podcast. I mean, typically what we do is we'll have a beer and a bourbon, or you have a side drink.
Right.
And I really enjoy, at the house I have San Pellegrino. So I enjoy pouring a nice big tall glass of bourbon
Oh,
in
tall.
a pint. No, a pint of bourbon. Well, yeah.
Oh
No.
my God.
No, I've.
Why were
of course
you
not.
like a leprechaun?
Yeah, it's a little pint. It's a little pint. And there's some San Pellegrino on the side.
Yeah,
That's
there you go.
perfect for me because you take a sip, and depending on how it goes down, because like wine, the longer it's open,
Mhm.
and it's able to get it a little embellished and kind of absorb and oxidate a little bit and
Yep.
enjoy the climate. And no, bourbon's the same way.
Once you open a bottle of wine, what do you recommend on length to drink it?
Yeah, so that's
7
gonna
minutes.
chug.
Yes. Now, if you don't
that-
finish it the first day,
Is that
right?
Oh, okay. So I was too
okay,
aggressive.
Is that
So-
where you pump argon in there?
I would say there's a few. Let's talk about the most an inexpensive way to save wine is going to get one of those little air pumps, and you just like pump it, and it's like pulling the air out. You've got like 3 days max, I would say. People are keeping their wines.
Like every Thanksgiving.
I love you, Elise, but my best friend Elise, she will keep her wine like forever, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it could get up and walk out of the room at this point. Like, you
Right.
should not do that. I mean, it's fermented, and it's not that
Requires a
the proof,
microbial treatment.
right? The
So in
proof of
general,
it.
you have 3 days. You said. 3 days.
And if it's white, I would say 2. And
Yeah,
if
it
it's
changes.
bubbly, just drink it. Just go ahead and chug it. But
What
maybe
about
not too fast.
storing them? People talk about how they need to be stored with the
Yeah.
wine touching the cork.
Yeah, and that's a true thing. I mean, you've been to these distilleries and you've seen how they treat the barrels, right?
Sure.
You got to keep them moist. I love that word, moist.
Moist.
She said it twice.
I think that's the third or
easy.
fourth.
Sorry.
Dial it back.
I've been drinking this really high-proof wine.
You need to.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that's for?
This is chode hole.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Jeez.
Is that out loud?
It's okay. It's okay.
That's great.
No, yeah, you want to store them on their sides, and you want to keep them in some place that's not humid, and you want to keep them in some place that's not bright. So you
Okay.
I tell everybody, if you don't have, I've only met one person ever that had a humid pantry, so that's weird because I'm like, that's gross.
Humid and moist.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. There's my Chipotle.
God bless.
What you don't want to do is put it into a room that is that way. So, but yeah, like a pantry is a great place. We had a pantry and filled it with wine, and then it moved into a fridge that filled with wine, and now it's also overflowing into a room. We have so many wine bottles, and my husband calls me the hand slapper because I won't let him drink any of them.
Ooh.
He
Wow.
doesn't know how much they're worth or when they should be opened. I'm like, you can have the cheap wines that are hanging right here.
But where do you store them? Do you have like a basement?
Oh, no, I have children. I don't have money. I know.
Well, we don't either.
She has a
but I mean-
pantry full
I
of
have,
wine.
well, that's the cheap wine. I have so there's a wine fridge.
Oh,
and
there you go.
the
It's
wine
a vault.
fridge, it
Is
keeps,
this a closet that you converted?
no, it's not a big one. It's like yay high.
It's
It's
a
like
walk-in.
It's like I got one downstairs.
the size of like a
mini fridge.
child. Yeah. Yeah. And so it holds, I don't even know how many bottles it holds, but I've shoved a lot in there. And then that's what she said.
Ooh.
Good
So
Lord.
there is
Not that kind of podcast, Heather.
Oh my God, I've heard y'all, please. Also, have
We're
you
on best
not
behavior.
have you
we
not
are. We're
have you,
ridiculously behaved right
have you
now.
not heard of Turo? You can get a car for super cheap on Turo. I'm just throwing that out there from the last podcast, okay? Anyways, but it's okay. You won't have status. So
That's aimed at Sean.
Yeah, that is.
Shots fired.
Totally.
I mean, it hurts.
Listen,
It's
Turo.
painful. Is Toro the better way to go?
Turo, you're renting cars from people. And as
Are
long
you kidding me?
yeah, no, I
Well,
I had a BMW the whole entire time I was in Napa and I was paying $20 a day.
I thought Toro was a
Shut the front door.
lawnmower.
No,
That's what the guy used
I don't
for the
know.
Cybertruck.
Yeah, see, he
in,
brought up Toro. These
Vegas.
are lawnmowers.
Oh,
well,
My-
they
what the hell is
no,
that?
that's
What are we
not
talking
that's
it.
a
about?
dango.
No,
You don't want the
no,
limited.
no.
She's
Put-
driving a tractor.
Put Toro car rental.
I want to drive that though.
Isn't it like TO?
I have a
pull it up there.
lawnmower that is kick-ass.
Yeah, that's
No,
it.
that's
That's
Turo.
it.
Oh, Turo.
Yes,
Oh,
Turo.
Turo.
Oh my God, I'm texting Turo.
All right.
Come
Well,
on.
look. This is good. I'll tell you what. I do like Hertz just because. But I do like. I like people. Okay.
They hurt your taint. Why do
I
you-
don't give a shit about
did.
Hertz. I don't care. But you know what I do care about? I care about people, and I like being around different types of people. So when I'm used to a service and I meet the people, I enjoy it. And I go back for that. Hey, look,
we are the
We
people.
are the children. No, keep going. I'm the background music.
it frustrates me. Like today, I tried to rent a car,
Mhm.
and I was going to get it set up for Friday.
Mhm.
And they were like, "Oh, guess what? We don't return cars on Saturdays anymore." So, what you want me to pay for Friday,
And Saturday.
Saturday, Sunday,
Oh, yeah, because you're closed on Saturday.
and then Monday because they're closed Saturday and Sunday? I have to like either drop it off at the frickin' airport,
Oh, this is the one in Frisco.
the one here in Frisco.
You need to find a different outfit.
You do.
Well,
You should
I
go
mean,
to-
Turo.
you should go to
Might
Turo.
be. I mean, I am going to jump on in and find out what's going on with this, and
You may find a car here, this guy or person, that you rent this SUV and you just go to him every single time.
as far as I'm
Is it-
concerned,
is
I'm
this-
okay with it because I
is-
only need one type of car.
Look at that
Is this-
van.
Is this the one where you're renting it from a person?
Yeah, but the thing is, the prices look higher here.
It is somebody's individual car, right?
It
Oh,
is. It
good
is.
Lord, $243
Yeah,
a day.
that's a
Yeah,
little
that's pretty-
crazy.
that's pretty
we
rich.
didn't pay that.
Would
So
you
look
like
for a
See, yeah, you
seven-person.
go down.
Oh, amen,
Oh
sister.
my God. If you scroll down, the prices get cheaper. Like, so I drove a really old BMW, but it looked really nice. And I drove it all around
What?
Napa and I paid $20 a day
Ooh, a
and it's
Sprinter?
insured through them.
how would you like to rent a 2006 black Jetta?
Well, you know what
Volkswagen.
happened
Yeah.
is she what she did is she created a profile on Turo,
Mhm.
and she put one of her pictures on there. And she says, I want to rent from you. And the guy's like, dude, I'll give you for $20 a day.
To be fair, my
Yeah,
husband
really?
created the account, so I don't
Sure
know.
he did.
But he is a
Mhm.
good-looking guy. Come
Yeah.
on.
Well,
But you show up at the house wherever it's parked, right? You show up at the house and they're like, open the door, keys are in there, and you just like they'll tell you exactly where to find the keys. You take the keys and you drive off, and when you return it, you do the exact same thing, and then you are done.
And somebody drives your car to L.A.
What about
or
insurance?
Las Vegas, and then they blow it up in front of the Trump.
Well,
what
that
about
is-
insurance?
So it's through them, I think, but we have insurance, so I don't know. Maybe we just used our insurance.
So you don't have
I
to worry
know.
about insurance.
I don't think so. I don't know. I think they do. Owe,
Yeah, my
there
car
is-
insurance covers rentals.
Yeah, mine does too.
What percentage are stolen? There have to be stolen.
No,
What?
because
People stealing these things.
So you have to think as a
No.
business owner, if Turo is a business owner, they're not going to allow these people to just come in there with stolen cars. Like they're not going to do that.
No, I mean somebody's okay, are these are individuals that are renting.
Yeah.
their
So
cars.
let me give you an example. I have a friend that is going through a divorce, and she wants to put her car on Turo on the days that she doesn't need to drive,
Crazy.
and she can pay her car off faster so that she
Yeah.
can use her bills for other things. So like I have a crazy stupid lifted Jeep with like, I don't know, $27,000. I do know $27,000 worth of work. And if I rented that, like people would pay a lot of money, right? But I don't trust anybody with her. I'd kill
Right.
somebody if they messed them up. But like the people do that,
What's the
especially
car's name? Do you have a name?
her name is Poison Ivy, and she has custom
Ooh.
plates. Yeah, she's sexy.
Bless.
Ooh.
Poison
Wow.
Ivy.
You're
You
Nailed
Yeah.
it.
You are serious about your Jeep.
I am very serious about her. She is my favorite child. I love you, children. If
Well,
you
if
listen.
it's on Turo, we should be. Oh, you said it's not.
I will
on Turo.
not.
Well,
Nobody's
I
touching
couldn't
her.
Personally,
Not on Turo.
I could not personally rent my vehicles through Turo. Well, I mean, couldn't anyways, but if I were, I still wouldn't because I'm too OCD and weird about things. Like when I get a rental car, I have to clean it myself.
Yeah.
I carry wet wipes and stuff with me. Where I
Actually,
have to,
the people they would love that if it's their car.
Yeah, they
Hey,
don't.
man.
They don't mind. I did that for the
I-
guy. I went and like literally detailed it at a little station. Like
Well,
vacuuming. and
Yeah.
maybe I'll look. Maybe I'll create a relationship with one of these, whomever they are. Because I mean, look, with my job, I require a vehicle to trial maybe 3 hours one way at the most, maybe
Sure.
4 one way, and then back. That's it.
yeah.
And sometimes I have to spend the night. Hopefully not. But regardless, it'll be back within 24 hours.
I actually think this is a great idea. It's like super
I'm
convenient.
going to
for you.
explore
Mhm.
it because look, Hertz, they've been around for a long time, over 100 years. And it's a sign of the times. And they dove into a rat's nest of investments with the
EVs.
EV cars, man.
They got screwed on this deal.
They screwed
It
themselves on the deal.
was the CEO that did it.
Yeah, he's in bed with Barack Obama
Did
and the rest of the.
I could be wrong, but I think the CEO of Enterprise, which I think has just as great ratings, is now the CFO. Yeah, and now he's the CFO of Total Wine.
They're-
I'm just throwing that
Ooh.
out there.
Bean counters.
Bean counters.
Bean counters. And that's actually that's what Hertz filed for Chapter 7. 3 years ago.
My
It-
company I used to work for, I sold them millions and millions and millions of dollars of equipment every year.
Those were
Wow.
butt plugs.
No,
Oh,
lots
God.
of
Yeah, you didn't specify what kind of equipment.
lots of Cisco,
D-size
lots
battery
of
one.
Cisco and networking and
Lord.
shit
Wait,
like
who
that.
takes a D-sized battery? What are you changing? A fire alarm?
I don't.
Come on.
Well, he's
Nobody
got
takes
these
those.
customers from Somalia.
I don't know
I
that
don't
they are using D-sized
edit that part
batteries.
out.
Yeah, maybe.
Somalia.
Oh my
What?
god.
Anywho,
That's an interesting concept because
so the Turo, I'm totally on board with that. I think I'm gonna entertain that whole idea because I'm pretty done. I mean, I just rented another car from Hertz and I had to push it to Monday, and I shouldn't say this.
And they didn't care that you're going to have to pay 2 extra days. Yeah, well, yeah, you are.
Well, no, I canceled it because it was on Friday, and I was like, really? I called back, it's like, no, I'm not doing this because you guys are blah 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 blah, and I'll start it again on Monday. And by the way, I'm really unhappy about this, and it's going to probably have some repercussions. Yeah,
I will say with Turo, you have to drop the car back off at the person's house. So, and your example of the first example, it wouldn't have worked. Your example of this example does work.
you should have just said, "Do you have any idea who I think I am?"
Have you seen my status?
I am platinum at Hertz.
Yeah, I
Come
am,
on.
damn it!
I'm a very
the
important-
president's circle. I have
All right.
status.
Oh my God.
I'm going to wrap it up.
I'm most anxious now that we've talked about Turo. Most anxious to try this next
Okay,
wine.
let's rock it out.
Do we need to down this? Is that what we're doing?
Wow.
Oh, mine's gone.
Oh, okay.
We've been enjoying it.
No,
Oh, that's good.
the Pinot was so
I took a
tasty.
picture and I sent it to my wife. I was like, we need to get this one.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Rating this one, this was very good for me.
Yeah, I rate it very, very, very good for
Yes.
Pinot Noir.
Three
Yeah.
varies.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
It's,
Producer, do you have a bottle of water over
I'm
there?
going to get that one.
I do not.
Would you like one?
So this doesn't go in order of dryness, does it? Was there any-
we're in order of price.
Of price. Okay,
Yes.
okay,
This
okay.
next one is a little bit pricier, but I will say that we got a better deal because we bought it retail versus buying it from the like one of the rules with like these wineries is that they have to let the people buy the winery a little bit higher of a price so that the retail environments can still make money. So especially on the ones that are produced and they sell in more retail environments, they make these agreements out. So this wine, if you were to buy it directly from the winery, it would be a little bit more. But they do give discounts for their wine members, and sometimes that
correct.
equals it out or whatever. But this one's a fantastic wine. I'm really excited about this one. And I told you, I've been out there and done harvest. This is the company that I did harvest for.
Nice.
I know the winemakers personally, and I love it. So I'm
and we
just
have a
gonna,
signed bottle.
Yeah, it is. It is
Ooh.
signed by John Harris. So John Harris is one of the two owners of Amici. I've actually never met the other one, John. I'm pretty sure that he doesn't exist. I'm
Well,
just
maybe
saying.
John Harris can join us someday.
Oh, John would totally be down with that.
Really?
I'll ask him. He loves it. He's a Texas man. He is a Texas man, true and true. So
Nice. You says he lives out in the California region now,
I
right?
should pour. I feel like I'm.
No. So I will tell you that Miss Heather was adamant about, no, this one needs to breathe immediately. As soon as I get there, we need to pop this in the decanter. So for those novice wine drinkers out there, for
Mhm.
some of these wines that require for it to breathe, I highly recommend you get this decanter. She got this from Amazon, HEB, whatever it is.
HEB. Yeah.
The bottom line is that you got to get one that's got a very large swelled bottom to it, so that you
Preach.
have more surface area for it to breathe. That's the
I
whole idea.
I have one of these.
Yeah.
You have bourbon in it.
That's called a
No, I don't. No, I-
bedpan
no, I
because when
don't.
you get
Oh,
drunk,
God.
No. I have one that's shaped exactly like this. I got it from a vendor, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" I had no idea that it was for explicitly for wine.
Yeah, so I did have a really expensive, I think it was like $600 one that my husband broke, as well as
holy
$2,000.
shnikes.
Yeah, so Riedel makes
No,
really.
stop.
Yeah,
How did he break it?
you know what? We did have to call
Go
him
slow.
to find out. I don't know. He's broken every Riedel glass that I own, and I owned so many of them, so they're all broken. We've probably gone through.
Was this through a drunken stupor,
Yeah,
or I
are
was
you-
washing the dishes?
Are you
I-
over serving him?
I don't know. We've spent $2,000 on Riedel before I finally was like, screw it. We're going HEB and Amazon.
God bless. That's what. You,
Yeah. What's so special about Regal?
Riedel.
Riedel.
It is
Okay,
it's like the thinnest glass out there, but it like when you drink wine out of it, you can really smell more, you can taste more, and the best way I can describe it without sounding like it's a marketing scheme
I
is
ignorantly want to throw a red flag and say that's bullshit, but I don't know.
okay. So here's what I can tell you: if
God.
the glasses are designed to hit your olfactory nerve, and so if you think about like when people had the big C word that nobody wants to talk about, COVID, right? You couldn't smell and you couldn't taste, and so your lack of smell affects greatly your lack of taste.
Of
So
course.
therefore, if you smell more, you taste more, and women do smell more than men. They can pick up more.
I believe that. My
And-
wife has a nose of.
Oh man,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I could fart downstairs and she could smell it in the bedroom.
Yeah.
How did you know?
I thought you meant
How
that
did you know?
they stink more than men.
Well, I was going to say that.
If you think about like olden times, like the men went out, they hunted. They didn't have to smell an animal. They had a freaking dog that barked at it, right? The women had to find herbs. They're like sniffing the air. They're like,
Oh my
Ah.
God.
you know, like
All right, this is
Right.
culture.
I'm
Is that
just
what you're
saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like it.
Generations of
Yeah,
I'm going to say
sniffers.
that to Shelley. I'm like, go get some herbs.
Yeah.
Go get some herbs.
You know
That
what?
could be taken wrong so many ways.
Yes.
Oh.
I'll tell you
I'll
what.
be right back.
That is Oregon.
So tell us about this wine.
Okay, so I did harvest for Amici, and I know that they're going to listen to
So
this.
when you say harvest, you're talking about you were out there
yeah,
picking the grapes and stomping on them?
no.
This specific bottle, right?
So no, I
Your
went
feet
last
have been on
year.
these grapes?
That was 2014.
Did you lose a toe ring?
That would have been 10 years ago. So
Oh, I found a ring.
no, yeah, no, not that year. No, so no, they don't step on their grapes either. But
Oh, I
okay,
know.
so I've seen them get in the vats though. I've gotten in the vat, but there weren't like all the wine in there, so it was just the grapes left. Okay, so the Amici.
Good Lord,
I know.
this is delicious.
Oh.
This is.
You already started drinking. Oh, damn it.
I know.
I haven't.
Fuck it, man! You can't put something in front of me and not expect me to. What are you? I'm a child.
All right, well,
Okay, so this
let her
is
finish.
okay. So this, I'll try to do it as fast as I can because I know we're running over on time. Okay, so John Harris and a guy, I think his name is Bob. Thanks,
Bob.
I've never met Bob. They own Amici. Amici means friends, and they also have a vineyard out in France as well. But these, like the vineyards that they use here in California, they're through Napa and Sonoma, depending on where they want their grape. This is all from Spring Mountain. It's a 2014. It is fantastic. So Amici, their wines are a little bit more in, I would say, the style of like French style. They're not going for that really high sugar. They're not going for like a ton of. They don't add color. They don't add sugar. They're trying to build a beautiful cab, but it's not true to like a normal Napa cab because Napa cab can go for super high alcohol, and I think this one is what 14.6%. It is 100% Cabernet.
Wow.
And it all came from Spring Mountain. So I'd love to hear what y'all think
Well, I'm
about this
picking up
one.
on the nose. I'm picking up some spice. First off, the first time I stuck my nose, well, I didn't stick my nose in it, but
Ooh.
when I first smelled it, I picked up some spice. Like
I
it
got-
almost didn't necessarily burn my nose, but it I could feel it.
It's like baking spice,
Yeah.
raspberry.
Mhm.
Oh, raspberries galore, I think. For
Are
me.
you looking at the tasting notes? I feel like you might be. I think
No.
he's cheating. I think he's cheating.
I don't even know how to do that.
I'm looking. You are looking at the notes. Don't listen to him.
What a cheater.
I know. So one of the things I like about this is you do get tobacco on this one, and I love a wine that has some tobacco notes to it. And I think this is true of many
yeah.
different spirits too. You can get some of this in spirits, but I just really love this wine. I have quite a few of Amici's bottles that are really hard to get that you actually can't get via retail. You can only get if you've gone to the vineyard. Well, not the vineyard. It's hard to explain. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because we're running late. But I will just say that Amici is amazing. So Dante and Tony are the winemakers. Tony Biaggi has so many 90-point ratings that it's ridiculous, like over 90. I always jokingly call him King Midas because everything he touches turns to gold. So
Well, tell us about it. I mean, how long have they been around?
that's actually a really good question. They've been around for a while. I think, oh God, John, don't kill me. I know it's over 10 years because we're drinking in 2014 now. It's been a while. He raised his kids so he went to school in Bordeaux and then he moved to Napa. His kids played Little League. John, you're what, 40, 50? Oh God, don't get mad at me. We're going to go with he's been there for 20 years.
Okay. Where? Okay, that's good. Do they grow their own grapes?
No, but they use some of the best vineyards.
So, in relation, because I've been out to Napa a couple of times, where are they at along that
21 years.
main strip? Are they on that main strip or are they on the other side?
No,
By the
you
mountain?
couldn't even drive to them if you wanted to because you're not allowed down the road. It's restricted.
Oh.
So it's the CEO is John Harris, and the owner is Bob Shepard. And
Oh, there's
Melissa
Bob.
DeVore. There we go.
There he is.
Look, I know Melissa. Hi, Melissa. I know you're gonna
What's up?
listen. Hey, girl. Hey.
All right. All right. So what's the sticker price on this?
This one is well, if you buy it at the vineyard, it's $250. I think that we paid $175 for it.
Well, this is outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen,
exactly.
I do not drink wine at all. This is outstanding.
It is. It's phenomenal.
All right, so Bob.
I think the nose on this is
So if they're going to listen,
phenomenal.
they can send us a bottle every once in a while to,
Well, we would
to
like
sample
to-
on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Actually, send it to you so you can come back on the podcast. We're going to in the future, we're going to have you back on.
Okay.
You're going to be on
sure.
for the second half. It'll be a different type of podcast. We're going to talk about bourbon on this one. But I think the next time you're out here, I think what we need to have is one of our original extended versions of the podcast. We had traditionally done a 3-hour podcast when we first started, and we're kind of like, it's too long. I think for this one, it might work out because there's a lot of information that
Dude,
we
I have
build up.
so many more questions.
Tons. Yep.
Like one of them is, that year was great. That year was not so great. And I understand that it's climate based, but hey, still.
We're going to intermittently touch up on some of these questions on the first half. Do you have any questions with us right now?
No, this was super fun. Thanks for having me.
You did have fun. Are you going to stick around for the second half?
I was planning. Are y'all kicking me out?
No,
absolutely
not.
I am going to
No,
eat my
absolutely
Chipotle.
not.
I have Chipotle sitting over
Well,
there.
we'll take a little bit of break, and you got one more bottle left of port. Is that correct?
No, it's not a port.
not at all. Nope,
well,
that's a
how'd that work?
surprise. We'll
That's
talk
a
about
secret.
it. Yeah, it's a
It's a
secret.
secret.
All right, well, it's January 15th. It's the first half of the podcast. Dudes Like Us, hold on before I say that.
What?
Thank you, Miss Heather Liner.
Thank you.
Yes.
It is a pleasure having you out here. Thank you for bringing all this product out here and letting us sample it, and we look forward to the next one.
Well, real quick, also the Amici. Can I find that everywhere? Or
So
only HEB?
Amici is sold at HEB. It's also sold at Total Wine. I know that they have a couple of other places they sell, but those are their two main people in Texas.
Okay.
Instagram and Facebook. Check us out at dudeslikeus.com, or sorry, dudeslikeus/Facebook, whatever it is. And check out also that Somm, SOMM, from TX Text. That Somm, SOMM, from TX. That is Heather Liner. Check her out on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Dudes Like Us, I'm Sean. Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
I'm Paul.
I am Jeff.
I'm Heather.
All right.